Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Same Page. I am Lenard and this is.
I'm Sarah Semajist.
And today's topic, we'll be talking about how we got into real estate investing.
So, so real estate investing is something that's always sort of been present in my surroundings, with my friends, with my family, and I. I mean, growing up, I saw a few people investing in real estate, never really thought too much of it until I got a little bit older after I graduated and everything from university. And at least for me, the way I started investing into real estate is sort of um, not by accident, but just it was what everybody around me was doing. So I knew my cousin had bought a few places in Hamilton, Ontario. My brother had bought a condo. Um, and so it's sort of like this idea that was in the back of my head. And when I graduated from university, I had the opportunity of buying a condo, and that was 2014. So my parents helped me out with that one, with the down payment. And funny enough, I was supposed to live in there. It was supposed to be for the owner, for myself. And after I bought it and went through everything, I realized I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford the mortgage. I couldn't afford the condo fees. I was still paying my student loan debts, and I wanted to continue focusing on that rather than increasing my expenses, like doubling my expenses basically. So I just got the idea of renting it out and then go rent somewhere that was cheaper. So for me, that was the strategy. I think I got away with a little bit because initially I put, I think it was like 5% down. As a first time homeowner, I was allowed to put 5% down, but if it was an investment property, you're not allowed to put 5% down. You have to put 20% down. But at the time that I was actually purchasing and putting the down payment, that was the idea. But along the journey before the property closed, I switched my strategy. And then I was a little bit scared because I was told, well, now you have to put 20%. And I was like, well, what happens if I don't? Right? So I consulted with a lawyer. And although he was like, well, you're supposed to put 20% down, but the chances were very slim that, the government was going to come after me and follow up and ask me for the extra 15%. So I just took my chances. I talked to my parents about it, and I was like, you know what? If it becomes a problem, I'll just deal with it. So that was my first step into real estate investing. What about you?
For me, it basically started with like just kind of like a general mindset. Like I kind of always told myself that I wanted to buy my first place before I was 30. I don't know where I got that concept from. It's not like I had a lot of friends that were doing a lot of real estate investing. It wasn't really prominent in my family as well. But for whatever reason, I thought that once I got into my 20s, I started thinking about, something was in the back of my mind saying that, what, like you should be purchasing a house pretty soon, like before you turn 30. So I did end up doing that. I was able to buy my first home, actually the home that we currently live in 2009. I was able to put 20% down. And then my parents also helped me out with some of like the kind of like the closing costs and everything like that. So I was able to amass the down payment and then some. And then they were able to help me with a little bit just so like I wouldn't completely wipe my whole bank account at that time. And then it's funny how like even there were a couple of things that I was practicing that I didn't really know that they were necessary strategies as far as refinancing. And I ended up refinancing the house a couple times to take money out to do other things as far as helping my parents out to buy a place in Florida, and then refinancing to do other things. So it was interesting how I was doing certain strategies, but not necessarily knowing that they were necessarily related to real estate investing.
Right. Yeah, you were just kind of like doing what you thought was right at the time with the knowledge that you had.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so we each had a property before we met.
Yes.
And then when we met, we got married in 2015, and in 2018, I think we had the idea that at least Leonard wanted to buy another house. Is that correct?
That's correct.
He wanted to buy a bigger house, and I personally didn't see the need for a bigger house because it was just the two of us. It's a three-bedroom. We have enough space if somebody
Hmm.
comes and stays over. So it didn't make sense to increase our expenses just like for no reason.
Hmm.
Well, for a reason that I didn't see was valid.
And also, we're also planning on keeping this house too.
Right. So it's
Yes.
not like we were gonna sell and then buy a bigger one. So
Hmm.
it to me it just didn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I told Leonard, okay, well, if we can purchase if we purchase another investment property, the following one will be your dream home, right?
Exactly.
That
Yes.
was
That was the plan.
that was the plan.
Yeah.
So as soon as I said that, Leonard was on it. We were looking at homes. He
Hmm.
contacted a realtor, a really good friend of us, Nick Kite, and we were looking at homes. And I think within 2 weeks.
Yeah. It was very random because like we literally saw, was it three houses, and the third one was basically the turnkey duplex that we saw. Just as a note, we're looking for like a multifamily at this point.
And why were we looking for a multifamily? I don't even recall having that
I
conversation.
don't even I can't remember the reasoning, but I guess for us, I guess the idea of having a duplex sounded good,
Okay.
right? At least from what I remember. And then yeah, and like and like our main thing was the fact that we wanted something that was closer to downtown and something that was basically turnkey.
Right.
Yeah.
So we didn't know the strategies of as to like buy under market value,
Hmm.
renovate, refi. We didn't know any of that. So we bought it turnkey. But one of the things is that the Ottawa market is very forgiving because the market increased so much from the time we bought it. Even though we bought it, at fair market value, the next year I think it increased like almost 20%.
Hmm.
So I mean, that's a side story. We were able to refinance and purchase more. But basically, that was how we started. That was like a second step into investing. And that was a
Hmm.
little bit more purposeful as to building our wealth.
Yeah.
We weren't really thinking about cash flowing. We weren't thinking about the numbers really. We were just like, this property just has to cover the mortgage and
Property
and
taxes.
property taxes. We
Yeah.
didn't think about repairs and maintenance and property management and all of that.
Hmm.
But still, it ended up being a good deal.
Yes.
So we bought that property in 2018, and that was all good. And in my mind, I was still not ready to buy, the next or dream home, you could
Hmm.
say,
Yes.
or bigger home because I was still stuck in the fact that we're gonna increase our expenses. Why?
Hmm.
Why is it just for show? Is it just because you want to buy your dream home right now? Like
Yeah.
I just didn't understand the logic, so we still didn't buy um a bigger home, and we just sat on those investment properties and we just yeah, waited.
Exactly. And
And
then initially we wanted to kind of repeat that same process as far as um, waiting until we saved up to have enough for a down payment until we could find or pursue our next investment property.
and what happened in 2020?
Well, in 2020, a lot of things happened. First of all, COVID happened. Then Sarah quit her job.
Mm-hmm.
So now she was self-employed and so she had her private clients. But during the time where uh, all the restrictions were being imposed on the province, Sarah couldn't necessarily go to her client's place to provide the service that she does. So she ended up like doing some searching on the internet, doing a little research, and she happened to stumble across Cashflow Tribe.
Yes, so during my free time during
Hmm.
COVID, I wasn't working. I was benefiting from the serve for a little bit. And the first 2 weeks, I just watched Netflix, and I was like, "Thank goodness I get a break," right?
Hmm.
But then I just felt lazy. Like I can't stay put for very long,
Hmm.
and I just these ads kept on popping up on Facebook about Cashflow Tribe. So I just clicked, started watching, started learning, joined you could say a group of
Mm-hmm.
people who were investing, and I thought that was very interesting. And then we started learning a lot of strategies like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, you don't have to save for 10 years or 5 years
Mm-hmm.
to purchase another investment property. You can, borrow that money. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do investments by yourself. You can have money partners and so many other things, right? We
Mm-hmm.
learned about flips. To me, flips was just what you saw on
On
TV,
TV, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we learned about multifamilies, raising capital, your network, um, and that just helped us tremendously,
Mm-hmm.
exponentially, actually, to really dive into real estate investing.
Exactly.
So, what did we do in 2020?
In 2023, we were in a position to purchase three other properties.
Mm-hmm.
One through another program in Saskatoon called Epic Alliance, and then we were able to close on two multifamilies, one in town and one out of town, in the secondary market. Actually, that one we actually closed on the same day. So all in all, we were able to purchase three properties all in 1 year and a total of 8 doors.
And that really goes to show what knowledge and action can do together. If you educate yourself through books, through networking, through courses, not just through school, because school, it really helps you find a good profession, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to school, you find a good profession, and you work there, probably have a pension, and then you retire at 65.
Yeah.
So just through self education, we were really able to, double the wealth, if I could
Mm-hmm.
say, in 1 year. And obviously in 2021, we're looking to do just that again, double, if
Mm-hmm.
not triple.
All right. So why investing in real estate?
Well, for me, investing in real estate, that's a loaded question, but I always saw myself, although I have an education, in the sense I had a good job,
Mm-hmm.
a good 9 to 5. I love my job, but I was always curious as to like, what is a life where you don't have to ask your manager for 4 weeks vacation, right? You don't have to say, I want to go to New York for the weekend. Can I take Friday off? Like, to me, it just made no sense to constantly let somebody else have power over your time
Mm-hmm.
and your life, essentially, right? I can't do this because I don't have the vacation because so and so said I just couldn't,
Mm-hmm.
right? So through real estate, I saw a lot of freedom. I saw the freedom to travel whenever I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
right? I saw the freedom to see the world. I saw the freedom to do the other businesses that I want to do, like 5 ingredients, 20 minutes, like cooking and just being more present for my family. I just really saw the box in which I was, which was really that 9 to 5 where you come in at 9, you finish at 5. Maybe you have kids, you have to rush to daycare, you're rushing to drop them off in the morning, getting to work, and you're all frazzled, like, and that busy life like this, I didn't like it, and I didn't like the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
So real estate investing for me was equaled freedom,
Mm-hmm.
period. I knew that through real estate I could liberate my time to do the things that I really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it will take a little bit of time. I know you can retire a lot earlier than 65. To me, that just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
To give your life to your work, because that's 65. You're older, and who knows if you're sick or whatever, right? So I needed to take that time back by generating wealth and generating cash flow so that I didn't have to give my time to make money. So
Okay.
that's why real estate investing was really important.
Okay. Good point. And I know for me, it's really important because just the whole concept of being able to just put down 20% of of your money and own
The whole
like the
thing.
whole thing and own like a physical a physical building. For me, that concept was always fascinating to me. And then beyond that, so as much as we're obviously investing in real estate, but we're also investing in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're also investing in not only learning more, but also connecting with people of similar mindsets and similar goals. And then with that being in that network, you motivate each other, you share ideas, you share
Yes.
thoughts, and then you also encourage each other to do more.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you like the network aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And I think anybody who wants that freedom, anybody who wants to step out of that box of 9 to 5, which there's nothing wrong with it, is just that I wanted to relate to people that were actually being more creative and
Hmm.
trying to create their own life rather than a life being created for them.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people that we meet through real estate are like that. They see a bigger vision for
Hmm.
themselves, and they talk about goals that I never even dreamed of speaking of,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And that's kind of cool to surround yourselves with those type of people because you then see that it's possible.
Exactly. So, if you've ever had any thoughts or ideas of getting into real estate investing, please contact us. We'd love to obviously share our what we know, share our journey. May put you in touch with some of the people that we know that we've come across this whole social network that we have. And then we'll just try to grow together.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, reach out to us if you want to know more about us. Yeah.
All right.
So until next time, don't forget to live your truth.